Boo, boo, boo.
And welcome everybody to another episode of Mac Yak. Appreciate
Hello.
everybody showing up tonight.
Hey, peeps.
All right, so what episode are we on now? Oh, 147.
147.
Forget all the topics and keep going with the fart jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah, that was actually Grudy because he came in late farting. So what's everybody been up to this past week? Well, actually, we had Thanksgiving last week, so only a couple of you guys were on last week. So
we did
what have you guys been up for the last 2 weeks then?
First time ever, we did a show not on Thursday, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Well, we did a few Tuesdays.
we did.
Well, that's because of Mac or
Yeah.
WWDC or whatnot.
I have
what
just
have been up
finished
to?
putting I have just finished putting an SSD into a 2015 iMac, which of course involves removing adhesive and then sticking the screen back on with sticky tape and all that sort of stuff. So that's always a fun old job. But
That sounds like loads of fun.
yeah, but it's done. It's all it's SSD
Well,
now. So
Unless you really want to put it back together right again. I mean, you could order the stuff from Amazon, the tape and stuff, but do like Jay and I used to do, and just put tape on there to hold it on.
I would do that if it was mine, but I'm actually giving this computer to my mother. So this is someone contacted me recently and said, "Hey, I've got this Mac. I got it in a bulk lot auction, and I don't want it. Do you know anyone who would want it?" And he sent me the serial number so I could look it up on this awesome Apple serial number info website. And it told me that it was a 2015. And I thought to myself, well, my mother's been using an Intel Core 2 Duo now for a long time. I thought I might be able to just make a cheeky offer, which I did, and he accepted. And I thought this is going to be a great little computer for me ma. So
See, mothers are the exception. You do not give an iMac to your mom with electrical tape around it. Wives.
I was going to say,
siblings, electrical tape all the way.
I was going to say, don't a certain Miss Aliki there have a iMac with tape around it?
Yes, and it's still the red tape that I put around during my live stream, but I have since found the black tape, so that will be remedied soon.
Ah, okay.
It's good at least.
Hey, it works because I used it on my 27-inch iMac for the longest time until I decided to sell it, and I had to go and get some of that re-adhesive stuff, to put a new adhesive on from Amazon, and then I sold it.
But yeah, let's face it. I mean, if it's for your own use, I think you're better off just using some neat, tidy tape holding that screen on so that you can open it up if you need to.
Hey, Brock has a good idea, and why they didn't do this before? Velcro.
Yeah, it might sit a little proud from the surface, but
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, let's face it, the magnets were awesome. I mean, they were just so. It used to just sit in there so snugly, and then you could just pull it off. It was absolutely a fantastic idea, but obviously not when they wanted to make it that thin. So no more.
Well, they wanted to make it even more impossible to get into. I mean, it was so easy to get into those thick iMacs, but the thin ones, they could have put the magnets in there, but they chose not to.
Oh, speaking of what everybody's up to, I just want to know, Justin, you were
What
watching
happened?
the stream last night, and you just poof, vanished off the face of the internet and never came back. What happened there? I'm just curious.
We watching him with this, what is it, Coxbox or whatever it was called, and he's putting
that
this,
sounds bad.
sort of soldering some stuff together, and then just boom, stopped. No more stream.
Yeah, we demand an explanation. I sat there for an hour off and on, refresh. Like, if he crashed, surely he came back.
And
Nothing.
I also want to take my hats off to Justin, who was having a crack at recapping an LC 2, 3? I can't remember, an LC of some flavor. And he was attempting to remove the caps just using a soldering iron. And the first one he worked on, he sort of lifted the pads. And I just want to say, I was so impressed that he said, "Nope, I'm not going to do any more until I get a hot air station. I'm going to step away." And I just thought that showed a lot of a very sensible, calm thinking. So
Yeah.
So he
You mean
was
somebody
talking-
actually used their brain?
So he had no idea something had gone wrong. And here we were, worried that he electrocuted himself or something. He was just talking to himself.
It must have been like I don't know if he's using OBS or not or anything like that, but OBS has sometimes it wants to do that,
He uses Streamlabs, I think.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Like you actually pay for garbage code. But hey, the guy wants to use a PC. That's what you're stuck with. You know.
Anybody else been doing anything unique or special this past couple of weeks?
Well, I managed to film and upload and release a video that I probably shouldn't have released because it was poorly edited and I was in the middle of trying not to die from multiple head infections and respiratory infections, which I still have. It's even hard to talk right now, but if you want to check out a video about a pluggable notebook graphics card, got one uploaded now.
I'm actually really looking forward to watching it once it gets subtitles.
Yeah, subtitles. Right. Yeah.
Well, you got to remember how Grudy got his name. Okay, so that's because of subtitles.
Yep.
Kind of.
Yeah, I could say things, but I won't.
Come on, Jay.
We've said it all before.
Oh, it was an awful video. I shouldn't have uploaded it.
Dude,
Christmas is coming up. I wonder if someone will buy Grudy a microphone.
Yeah, that helped me for sure.
guess what? Tomorrow is Friday. Why doesn't Grudy buy himself a microphone?
Here's another thought too. He's got a tripod back there behind him with nothing on it.
See, that's why nobody wants to buy. That's why nobody wants. That's why nobody wants to buy him a microphone. Because even if you do buy him one, he's still not going to use it.
I used the tripod for 90% of the entire video.
Okay, you just bought 2 old Macs from me yesterday.
Yeah.
For the price you spent on those 2 Macs, you could have bought 2 of these microphones I have, the blue snowballs.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, anybody else got anything that they did?
I think I did a stream this week, or it may have been last
you
week.
did,
I'm not
actually,
sure.
I think.
Yeah, I'm
But
pretty sure
it
it was
turns
this
out I am a genius at fixing Blu-ray burners. Learned something new about myself. Pretty impressed with myself and my skill.
Well, was there anything really broke about it, or?
Oh yeah, it didn't work.
No.
It didn't
Well,
work. Yes.
Before I started, it did not work. By the time I was finished, it worked. That's
Okay,
all.
here's the question then. Do you know how you fixed it?
I did some stuff. Yeah.
It's
What
called
did
the
you do to
witchcraft
fix it?
technique.
Translates. No.
It's we've all done it before, when you've got something that's broken, you open it up, you push and prod, and you wave your hands over it, and you just hope that a little bit of witchcraft will happen.
Yeah.
Well, this did actually work for Jay this time.
Yep.
So
And I will say that I applied the Mr. Miyagi technique of foam tipping the laser, on, off. That may have been it.
Toby goes, our Greg could have charged him less so he could afford a mic. I actually did not charge him much at all. In fact,
No,
I
he
put the price in our
Way
private chat,
below.
and then he's
where
like,
it should have been.
here's money. I sent you PayPal already. I didn't even say. Then the second one, I'm sitting there like, well, I'm probably going to list this for this amount. And then Grudy's like, okay, I'll buy that one too. I didn't even say I was going to sell it to him. I was like, and then at the same time, Jay is actually asking about it because he was probably thinking about buying it. Grudy already paid me for it.
I'm going to use it as the diesel shop computer.
Jared,
And if anybody
Sure.
wants to know, it's an
Yes.
iMac, a 21.5-inch iMac, and a 2010 MacBook Pro with the matte screen.
Mm.
And it's got the i7 processor in it.
When did
Yeah.
Apple change it from matte to anti-glare? Because they changed it at some point.
When
The
Retina
naming.
came out.
Huh?
Yeah, Retina.
Oh, anti-glare? Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, it's probably around that time period.
Well, they had
2010,
they sold both different kind, right? They had the shiny version and then the matte version.
Yeah. The matte version was a paid upgrade.
Yeah, and the matte version had the silver border, whereas the non-matte version had the regular glass all the way
Yeah.
around it.
I think whatever they charged for it at the time, it was worth every penny. I've always had the matte screen. As long as I had laptops, I had the matte screen. Beautiful.
It is very. And the person that had it before took very good care of it because there was not a mark on it, except they put a huge sticker on the back. And I had to show Jay, and Jay gets cringes when he sees stickers on Macs. So
Yeah, you do not put stickers on it. Like when people send me stickers, it's like, oh, thank you. I'm not going to use it. I don't like stickers on anything, but I have them.
The which one was it? I can't remember which MacBook Pro it was. Maybe it was the 2012 or 10. I'm not sure, but anyhow, one of them, the matte screen was actually higher resolution.
Yeah. 17-inch had that.
17-inch, yeah, it was actually a significantly larger amount of pixels on there when you went for the matte version. And I hate matte screens. I like the glossy ones. But with, to have the extra pixels on the screen, that extra resolution, I actually, will put up with the crappy matte screen for the extra, the extra pixels.
Oh, you're that guy that wants touchscreens on Macs, right?
yeah.
Whatever happened to that MacYak Disagrees segment that we had before? We've got to do.
I think we're doing it right now.
I think we should get it back right now.
Yeah, the glossy.
Speaking of touchscreens.
Actually, yeah. Speaking of touchscreen, if you had a touchscreen, you'd want the matte because that doesn't show fingerprints versus the glossy ones.
Chris, tell me something, GT. How do you feel about touchscreens?
I don't like them. Not on computers. I like them on tablets, but on a laptop or a desktop, no. Steve Jobs is right. Whenever you're using your arm like this, holding it up, it's very uncomfortable doing it that way. But if you're on a tablet, you're like, it's a lot easier.
It's nice to have the choice, as far as I'm concerned, one or the other.
Yeah, you do have a choice. Go get a Windows tablet and leave us alone.
There you go.
Yeah, but I'm still using them. I'm just saying, I just prefer it if they did have a touch.
It's funny because I actually have one of those Microsoft Surfaces that I got, for free too, and it has the touch screen on it. But I rarely use it because it has the keyboard with the little trackpad on it. I always use the trackpad. I never touch the screen. I never use the touch screen.
I think, I don't know. There was something for. I think the iMac G3 that you could put over the screen and make it a touchscreen.
Actually, I have one sitting back here. There's a magnetic one you can stick on any Mac screen that you glue magnets to the screen and then you stick it on there and it does this like IR thing and then you can touch wherever on the screen.
Yeah.
I need to do a video on that sometime.
How accurate is that though? I mean, that.
Don't know. I've never tried it.
You haven't and never tried it.
Yeah. Plus, I'd probably forget it was there and close the MacBook and break it.
Well, why would you put it on a MacBook? I think that would be more on like a desktop.
I think that was the main use case for it, was to have it for mobile reasons.
Yeah, Starbuck Tech, you and I agree on that. No touch screens on laptops or desktops.
But speaking of touchscreens, Crazy Ken released our first collab video today.
Yeah,
and
good. I haven't seen it.
It's on my Gemini book. Link in the chat there.
Cool. I'll be watching that.
See, of course, Grudy's going to be, telling people to go watch Ken's video while we're streaming. Yeah,
just wait until after the stream. But
the audio will probably be good in that one.
Probably, yeah.
It's freaking amazing, man. The audio is perfect.
I wonder why.
It is.
Probably because it's a professional production.
And he uses real boom mics.
And cameras.
You would think that if you visit
with tripods.
You visit someone that makes a lot of these videos.
And scripts.
You take some notes, like, hey, I can use this to improve.
You really think Grudy took notes?
Well,
I took a lot of notes. It doesn't mean I'm
No, you did. No.
It's worth mentioning that when Steve went and did that collaboration that time, he came back and completely changed his filming area. his lighting, and everything. He came away with sort of.
I
a lot
would
of
change my filming area if I had
What, the floor?
electrical in the area.
The floor?
No, my studio next door that I
How
can't
long
use because
is
there's no power.
How long does it take you to put power in there? You've been saying that for years.
Over a year now. Well over a year. Almost 2 years at this point. Yeah. I know.
Mm.
Come on now, Grudy. You're making excuses now.
But don't forget,
Yeah.
he was on hiatus, so all that time doesn't
That
count.
too.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a job for this weekend.
Yeah,
Power
during that
industries.
hiatus, you could have put electricity in there.
Well, my next door neighbor was going to do it. Thanks. Thank you, Steve. My
You're right,
next door
Steve.
neighbor's doing it for free. That's why it's taken almost 2 years.
So you get what you pay for.
So
Exactly.
What about your Ethernet? Because you haven't run the Ethernet out there either, and Steve even offered to help
Steve
do
is
that.
supposed to be coming over. He still hasn't come over.
Free electrical work is going to kill Grudy.
More than likely, with my luck.
Well, yeah, because Grudy has had issues with
Hey,
vehicles.
electrical
He's had
doesn't have wheels. He'll be fine. He'll be
I don't know about that because remember Max, he's bled on just about everything he's filmed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that was a pretty good intro there, at least.
It would have
let's
been
get-
longer if we had kept the fart theme going.
Yeah, that's true. So we got some news tonight, and I'm going to throw it over to Mike. You have started a new channel. You want to tell us about it?
Not really.
Come on.
All right, moving on.
Well, realistically, it's been around for a year.
Actually, it's been around for longer. Well, yeah, you're probably right. It probably has been around for about a year
Well,
now.
I saw you had at least 10 subs. I mean, I made your 11.
So I had started the channel. Well, no, it's actually been over a year because my computer was still sitting over on the other side of the living room when I actually created the channel, because I was intending on hooking the Apple II and everything up, and it just never came to fruition with everything going on in my life and everything else here. So
Just channel
I finally
pause, Mike.
decided Mike's Ancient Arcade.
Mike's Ancient Arcade.
I actually watched him the other day, and
I did too.
he was actually doing pretty good there for a little while until he got killed a few times in that
20
one level.
subscribers.
A few hundred
One
times.
Mike
video.
Yeah.
ignored every single one of my comments.
Huh? No, he didn't know doing
I didn't
mine.
ignore you. By the time that I saw you, you were already gone.
You got to remember, Rudy.
It's hard to play a game on this screen, okay, and then look
Oh,
at this screen to see the
definitely.
comments.
Definitely.
Yeah, see, I do the same thing when I race. I don't really see the comments because I'm so concentrated on my racing. I
Yeah.
look over when I have a break. I'm like, oh, this person said something, you know?
Yeah, the first time I look over, that's when I end up getting killed again. So if anybody's interested in watching me play old games and die a lot, please subscribe. I will be live streaming
he died a lot.
I will be live streaming every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Maybe we could get a UT game going during that time.
This week I am doing Jazz Jackrabbit, and yes, I would be up for playing UT with you guys live.
So he could
Yeah.
die.
That would be something to do on the weekend.
Yeah, we need to get together
Yeah.
and do that again.
Definitely.
It's been too long.
Let Bruce die.
Way
'cause,
too long.
he's the one that.
It's impossible for me to win with the level of latency between our computers, how far away I am from you guys.
Bullshit! Look, just be like me and admit that you suck, okay?
Oh, I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible at
I know
games.
I
Period.
suck. That's actually why I wanted to start playing the games online, because I sit here and I play them myself. And it's like, man, I suck. I said, I think I should make everybody else watch me so they can see how badly I suck, and we can all have a laugh fest at the same time because I suck.
Well, I think if you keep it up and do it like you said every Tuesday, I think you'll start getting us, a base there and get people watching.
Yeah, it's just
Just
something I wanted to do.
I would give another suggestion to you too. You might want to. also broadcast maybe on Twitch because that's where a lot of
I
gamers
have
do
my
stuff.
Twitch account linked. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
I'm not really worried. It's not like I'm not going to get into making money on this. It's just something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's just like my
That's a
YouTube
good
channel.
one, Jay.
What's that?
What? What?
Jay's comment.
Jay's
What about
comment.
me?
What
Wasn't his comment.
the hell
He's,
comment?
That was
Yes, it was
Oh.
a double entendre.
Mike, I sit here and play with myself.
Jay,
Wasn't me.
you are such.
I think he self-muted there.
But I
I did
didn't really-
because I couldn't hold back my colorful language. So, and this is a family-friendly show, and I didn't want to exactly cuss on stream. I want to reserve my one F-bomb for when I accidentally let it out.
good idea.
All right. Do we have any topics in the show?
We
yes,
have
I'm-
one. Anyone
No.
know if Airport Extreme base stations have logs? No. You can set up an app on your Mac so that the logs, because it has logs but it doesn't store them. Nothing useful anyway. But you can have what's it called, syslog, ported or pipe it to your Mac, and the Mac will take all the logs. So look into that. The logging on Airport Extreme it might as well not be there. It's useless.
Yep.
So, Dana.
Dana, he made it.
Yes.
All right. So let's
Hello,
go ahead.
Pants McGee.
Let's go ahead and get into our topics here. First one up tonight. This will be the third annual one, right? Correct, if I'm wrong. This will be the third annual
I don't know,
Power
third?
PC Challenge.
I've been in two.
I've
Maybe
been.
it's the fourth.
I think it's fourth.
So this will be the fourth one.
Okay.
Yeah,
fourth
this is
one.
the fourth.
Man, I'm losing count. See,
Fourth annual Power PC Challenge brought to you by
Maciac.
these
Cat's
you're
falling off
nuts.
this.
brought to you by Prada falling off my table because
It's there, so I'm gonna click on it.
Yeah. So the month of January, we started this way back. I think before we even started Maciac, even.
Yeah.
Well, it was already a thing. I think someone did it once on Mac Rumors years ago. And then
I
we
think
picked
was
it up.
twice, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just did it for 1 week starting out. Then it went to 2 weeks. Then it went to like a month.
Yeah. Well, because everybody was like, yeah, I didn't do anything the first week. Let's extend it. By the end of the second week, it's like, yeah, I still didn't really do anything. Let's extend it. So,
Well, I'm hoping we get a lot more people to do it because now with that sorbet, Mac OS
Oh, yeah.
sorbet, I think
Oh yeah. Now
you're
I
going to
have
be
more.
able to do a lot more with the challenge now than you did in the past.
Now I have a lot more reasons to use my iMac.
Yes, I really think so.
Not to mention it's going to be in January, and I need to heat my house somehow
That is true.
because I have no heat in the living room. So I might as well fire up the iMac.
Yeah, I have my
Yeah,
Power Mac
exactly.
G5 sitting back here that's going to be participating.
yeah, I'm gonna. Well, first off, do we want to just make it 2 weeks right off the bat?
I think 2 weeks is a good one.
I think
Not
we
a
should make
month.
it the whole. Why
I
not?
think-
month.
I think one of the things that happens, one of the reasons why it did end up going 2 weeks before is because it's like, okay, we start it and you faff around for ages with, the computer, getting it set up, getting your software and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, by the time you've actually kind of got something ready to go, the week is up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's got
You need the whole
exactly
month.
4 weeks from now to
Yeah.
get their computer set up and ready for the challenge.
I always do
or
a
like
video
Steve, you wait
setting
until
one
the
up.
day.
Yeah.
What's that? What's that, Dana?
Or like Steve, you wait until it starts and then start putting your
Yeah.
computer together.
Mine's always set up, so I don't want to hear any excuses from you guys.
Mine is
This
too.
thing, this thing sits back here. It's plugged in. It's cabled to the Ethernet, Greg. So it's ready to go.
Not me.
Right. Why
Yeah,
would we
no,
have
not
it-
GT. I'm talking about the hairball on the bottom of the screen.
The
The one that doesn't even know The one that doesn't even know what Ethernet is. I got computers older than him connected to Ethernet, for crying out loud.
Well, everything's older than Grudy. Come on now. I think
That's
he's
true.
the youngest one here.
And are we going to do the 68K thing again? Remember last year we did the PowerPC challenge, PowerPC and what is it? And 68K challenge, something like that?
Yeah,
No.
because you wanted to run a 2CI with System 608 on it.
which I
But did
never
you do
freaking
it?
did.
Yeah, I was gonna say he wanted to do it. He did.
I
Right,
think
Tom.
if someone wants to
Steve
do
wanted
a
to-
68K challenge, do your thing. Set it up and have a challenge. But
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the PowerPC challenge.
I think it will include the 68Ks, but the name PowerPC Challenge is just a lot easier to say than PowerPC and 68K Challenge.
Yeah.
How about the
We
classic?
didn't
How
want
How
to
about
do
the,
last year, but Bruce made us. So
Oh, no, it wasn't me that made it.
We should just call it the Vintage Apple Challenge.
I was going to say, how about the classic Apple challenge or classic Mac challenge or something like that?
I couldn't give a stuff if you call it Fred. I mean, I don't care what it's called.
The Fred Challenge.
Okay,
I like-
so starting January 1st, Fred is coming to town.
I like
Yeah.
this. Code Professor said you should start a Tinker Different thread for people to post software ideas and methods that help with the challenge. I like that idea.
It's a
could
great
try that
idea,
out.
yeah.
I'll ask the president, but he's a bit of a dick.
That would be you,
Tell me
right?
about it.
Yeah.
I mean, details. We're still a month away, so details forthcoming as we plan this out. But
Well, I mean-
I'm looking forward to it with Sorbet Leopard. I'm not looking to actively use it, but I do want to check out Colin Mister's Discord client for PowerPC. And he just did an update. I
I
read.
was gonna say he just did it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna try. In previous years, I've tried to use it, like forget the Mac Pro and the laptop, use the PowerPC as much as I can. I only really do two things on my computer: I write or I update my website. And I'm not gonna try to do that with the PowerPC this year. It's possible, but it just doesn't see enough use. So I'm gonna focus on exploring my old games, playing with the software that I used to use and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Now, Toby goes, is it cheating if we use a PowerPC Mac with the 486 card? As long as you use the PowerPC side, not
Yeah.
the 486. You cannot use that. That's cheating.
Yeah.
How
You
is
gotta
that
be-
cheating? A 486 is like a quarter of the speed
it's
of
not.
your normal PowerPC, for crying out loud.
It's true. It's
cheating,
true.
but it's also not following the spirit of the challenge. It's
And
using
Morph OS, that's an Amiga operating system, so I don't know if that really. I guess it kind of qualifies.
if you're
Well,
dual,
Starbucks,
if you're
you
dual
have a
booting,
month to
then
buy
sure.
one.
Yes, there are plenty out there.
Yeah, there are, and look, seriously, if you go looking for them, I mean, let's just say, for argument's sake, you were looking for an old G5 tower, like maybe the old was a dual 1.8 or single 1.6
No,
or
those
something like
things
that.
are
One of
a
those ones.
dime a dozen.
You will be able to pick those up for free because they are huge, and
Ancient
they're a
boat
pain to
anchors.
store. And if someone
No,
has one
they're
of
not.
those,
They're not free, but you'll probably pay about 50. At least here in the States, you'll probably pay about $50 for one.
No, well, a lot of people just give them away
This-
or throw them in the
this-
trash.
Well, but the scrap value of it's about $50. So,
I don't know. I
that's-
got a 1,1 for free in the box and everything. The guy was.
Oh,
gonna
I've
trash
gotten a
out,
lot
so-
of machines for free, but for some reason, the aluminum towers, people still want stupid. I was looking at been looking at a couple of G5 towers. People still want stupid money for them.
And keep in mind that free for us means $600 in Australia. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got I've told you guys before. I've got lots of sort of free Macs before, and I mean, I've even, in sort of recent times, I got sort of a couple of G5 iMacs, and that don't work, of course, because they're G5 iMacs, and like a dual G4 450 megahertz. I got a mirror drive door for free. So yeah, I mean, it's if you put your ear to the ground, or if you get onto some of the sort of the community groups and say, hey, has anyone got a PowerPC they're going to throw away? I'll take it. So
And
Well,
by the
some of
way,
those groups are not
Starbucks-
going to give up their PowerPC.
Starbucks, you don't have to have a PowerPC. You can use anything you want.
No, it has to be PowerPC.
It has to be a
Yeah,
PowerPC.
definitely.
Anything that's
Yeah.
not in Intel.
So that includes the M1s.
No.
See, and this is why in previous years
Okay,
we
smart
had
ass.
one line that said, "This is the challenge," and
Okay,
6 paragraphs
anything that's
of
made-
everything- Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you keep talking over me.
Rude.
How about
It's 'cause
this? Any
it's 'cause
Mac
it's
that
fun.
has 2005 or earlier in its model name.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say.
Yeah.
I think anything blue and white.
Of course,
That
you
works too.
Just
What
looking
sort of
up
blue?
What we did last year.
So Steve goes the pre-2005 Macintosh hardware challenge.
There we go.
Steve, just
But-
get onto the stream.
Well,
will
it'd
ya?
be pre-2006 technically, but yeah.
This old Mac challenge.
Now we're renaming it.
Followed up by This Old House
And
with your
old
host,
Mike.
Bob Vila.
So obviously, there's a lot of discussing to do on this challenge, which we will get to, and we'll put out a page on the website.
Yeah, there actually is a Discord channel that already has some previous information from the past PowerPC challenges that we've had in there. So go and check out that channel and start writing stuff in there. And one of the things that we like to see is you using it. Try to use it as much as possible in a daily environment. I know you can't do everything on it, and we know that. But try to use it as much as possible, and then write a little paragraph or something on what did you do that day, and Jay will combine all those and put it up on the website.
And we love
Yeah,
pictures.
well, I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I'm hoping to have a discussion with that prick president of Tinker Different, and he's hard to get a hold of. And once you do get a hold of him, he's just rude.
He's
But
bourgeois.
hopefully, I'm hoping that instead of me being up till 4 a.m. Gathering all the emails and messages and putting it on the website, we could just put it on Tinker Different somewhere.
It's probably not a bad idea, actually. I
Yeah.
will. We'll
Yeah.
see if
Try convincing the president.
see if that asshole will listen to us.
Well, there goes our monetization. Yep. Okay.
No, we're far
That's-
enough in. They're not watching
That's
for it anymore.
that's not a swear word in this country. I'll plead that.
No.
All right. Anything else before we move on?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I know
I
I
am
didn't
too.
really do my part last year, but this year and I have space now.
And
Why
the
don't
reason why
we-
I'm looking forward is sorbet. With that sorbet version out, it's a lot. You could do a lot more with it than you could before.
Your Power Mac became infinitely more useful.
Yes.
Mhm.
Why don't we do a poll on Discord and ask everybody what type of machine they're thinking of using, just to gauge an idea of
But
I'm
Do it.
using my iMac G5.
No, I'm using
I,
my power.
I know
Mac.
mine.
I usually do a video sitting up, but I always pick some weird device to do it on. And
Well,
I can't
Grudy, you
even
got like
think of one
200
right now.
different power PCs you could probably choose from, right?
I know. There's a lot of broken ones that I need to
But
fix.
only 199 of them are, but only one of them works.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
yeah, I
That's
recall a video from you where you worked on a Power Mac G5, and stuff was thrown, stuff was kicked, stuff was hit. I think you should use that one.
no, that one actually is mostly in Ken's computer now.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Dana will set up a poll on Discord because he obviously knows how to do that, and I don't. So look forward to that.
All right, guys. So, next topic of the evening is what are some of the default Mac OS settings we change immediately after every install?
Mouse
I'm
scroll.
I was going to say, I'm going to go first, but yes, the scroll and also the 3-finger drag, especially on laptops. I like to have 3-finger drag. So I put that on because that's not on by default. Huh?
I've never actually used that. I might have to.
I
try
use
that.
it all the time.
But yeah,
I always enable 2-finger click and touch tap.
tap to click. Yeah,
I
was just gonna
hate,
say
I
that,
hate the tap.
to
I
click.
want to press it.
Well,
I can't.
my-
I'm so used to just tapping.
My left click
Oh.
on my 2011 MacBook doesn't work too hot, so I kind of have to tap the click one.
Trackpads, I never use push to click. I always tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I use push to click because that's just the way me. But
Oh, when I put the topic in, I didn't really have an idea, so I spent some time thinking about it last night and made notes because I didn't. want to think about it.
Natural scrolling.
Yeah,
yes,
that's the
I like
top,
natural
the top of
scrolling.
my list.
Hate it.
Is natural scrolling is not natural at all. So I
it
turn it off.
depends on what you're using. If you're using a trackpad, natural scrolling is fine. If you're using a mouse, you want to turn that off.
Exactly.
It just depends on what you're using. Now, there's an app out there that I can't remember what the name of it is, but it automatically will switch for you depending on which device you're using. If you're using a trackpad, it'll use natural scrolling. If you're using a mouse, it will use the reverse. I think it's called reversal or mouse reverser or something like that. It's a little app you can just install and it automatically will switch for you.
I like natural scrolling enough that I actually put what I think it's called iScroll on Leopard, just so I had natural scrolling.
Well, you're weird.
But like I said, natural scrolling on a mouse sucks, and I think everybody will agree with me on that. But natural scrolling on a trackpad, because when you're using a trackpad, when you scroll one direction, it's going the opposite direction on the screen. You want to push or pull that stuff, on a trackpad. It's just better on a trackpad.
Especially
Yeah.
for those of us who have been using scroll mice or wheel mice since they came out in what,
This is
1998?
Yeah.
That's the main point, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether it's, one way is better than the other. If we've been doing it for such a long time in a particular way,
Mhm.
you don't want to change. I mean, if
Exactly.
they'd have done it the other way around to start off with, fine. That's what we'd probably all be doing. But, it's just having it, go one way for however many years, 10 years, 10
Well,
plus years.
I mean, for this mouse right here, it's got a scroll wheel. So I use without natural scrolling because it works better that way. But like I said, I have a trackpad on my iMac up here that I use natural scrolling with. So
There's a few other settings that I change whenever I set up a new computer. The first thing I do is go up to the Finder preferences and get it to show hard disks and show network connected drives, because by default that's off.
Yep.
And all you can see are external devices and everything. So I just get it to show all the hard drives. Whenever I go whenever I launch Safari for the first time, and I know not everyone uses Safari, I go in and set up the status bar, because that's the little thing down the bottom that comes up when you're sort of hovering to see, what your link's going to, that sort of thing. So I always switch that on because that's off by default. A couple of other things that I do.
I turn dark mode on.
well, that actually, when you're setting up the Mac, it should say, what do you want, dark mode or light mode? I usually put dark mode on.
I turn dark mode on.
Yeah.
So to continue my list, tap to click on a laptop will always turn it on, because mostly my trackpads are trash, so it doesn't register.
If you treat your trackpad
Bruce,
like you treat
Bruce
your
mentioned this
keyboard,
one. Show the hard drives on the desktop always. I don't know how people function without seeing the hard drives on the desktop.
Yeah.
The status bar in the Finder. I want to see how much space is available and all that stuff right underneath every Finder window. I enable the 24-hour clock with seconds. One of the first things I do. That comes from a time where the only way to find out if your system was frozen was to look at the seconds, and if they stopped, then your system was frozen. I still do that. With older systems, I run Onyx, disable some of the graphic hoo-ha in the system and that I don't need. And I set up the 10.4 Tiger wallpaper, regardless of the OS. So
That's nice wallpaper, though.
it's beautiful. Kidding me? Best wallpaper ever.
I mean, that is pretty nice wallpaper for, being as old as it is.
And there was, this is a couple years old. Sorry. Sorry again. Someone remade all the wallpapers in 4 and 5K, so they look even better now. But I mean, look at this. This is it's beautiful.
Now,
If you're
one
on
of
the
the
G4,
things
you
I
have to use the
think
graphite version.
a lot of us also do is when you go to system preferences, go to privacy, security and privacy, and set the damn thing from App Store only to App Store and identified developers, or all apps allow.
Yeah.
Well, I just go into the terminal and make it allow all apps, because unlike some people in this world, I actually know what the hell I'm putting on my computer, and
Mhm.
you know, I don't install strange stuff that I just randomly download.
Yeah. Same here. I think a lot of us do that too. I mean, but
Oh yeah.
that's just like babysit. It's like a babysitter.
That is not suggested for people who are just randomly using things on their computer, though.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to explain on this stream how to do it. You can find out on your own.
But you can actually set it. I mean, by yourself. There is the option to set it to App Store and identified developers, which external developers actually do have a certificate with Apple, and you can actually run external software that doesn't come from the App Store if Apple deems it's okay. So that's one of the things I do too, is I make sure that change is set, because to be honest with you, it's a pain when it's not there.
I agree with Baby Boomer Twerk Team. I think dark mode is stupid.
What?
I agree.
I have dark
Although
mode
I
on
must
everything
say,
now.
while I was test driving Big Sur on my trip, it was enabled, and I was unable to disable it because every time I went to the menu, the graphics card would glitch and I couldn't click it. So I was forced to spend a week and a half with dark mode. I learned to appreciate it. When it's 2 a.m., you finally sit down and you want to watch a show or a movie. It's nice not to have the bright menu bar and all that. So it has its uses, but not for everything. Not when
I
go to
kind
shop
of
or
wish,
whatever.
like, Stream Duck right now is white all around on it. I wish it had a dark mode too. So,
Yeah, me too.
because it's
Yeah, but
the brightest thing on my desktop right now. Everything else is in dark mode.
But doesn't the system adjust it if
No,
you?
some websites it won't adjust.
Oh.
No, websites appear as they're programmed. So
Hmm.
yeah, unfortunately they have not built a dark mode, which sucks because I kind of light sensitive, and that's why my house is always so dark. So the dark mode on the computer is really nice, especially when I sit at work all day in a pretty dark corner of the store, sitting at a black screen with green text on it all day. So I'm kind of used to being in dark mode.
What are you at, a VST terminal or something?
An IBM 5250 terminal going into an AS400.
So, I mean, expanding on this topic a little bit, I mean, we put all the tweaks and everything. What's the first software you actually install on your system? I'll go first. My first piece is basically TGP Pro.
I usually put iStat menus.
Yeah, I put my
Both.
fan control software first off the bat.
Yeah.
Depending on where I get TG Pro, I usually do a little snitch first. But after that is TG Pro.
I actually bought TG Pro, so I actually own it.
So did I.
I do now.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Firefox.
you guys are
Firefox is
gonna hate me, but the first thing I install on a computer I'm going to use all the time is Microsoft Office, because that's how I get my That's how I get my email.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it because they make it for Mac. I mean,
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah, is there-
Firefox is right there.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's definitely that and Wired are like the two first internet applications I install, because I need Firefox so I can. Well, first of all, I have to use Safari to download Firefox, and then I have to use Wired to download all my other stuff.
Gee, I can't believe you didn't say UT.
Well, that's later on. I mean, but we're talking about the first things you add to your computer.
Well, there's
Why would that
necessity-
not be the first
there's-
thing that Jay puts on?
because he has
there's
to set it up
necessities and
security
then-
wise.
Yeah, he has to lock everything down, then he can play games.
Yeah, I'm talking about the first setup. Like before you sit back, like, okay, my Mac
Guys,
is
it was a
done.
joke.
And then I will start working on software. But UT is pretty much always last because I don't really game until I'm all done setting up a system. But yeah, it is, of course, it is always nearby. It's on a flash drive or an external hard drive or a server share, so it's easy to grab. But hey, at least I connect the puck right away.
Oh,
Oh, God.
Jay and his puck mouse, you know.
Yep.
Someone finds a way to, kind of fit a scroll wheel into a puck mouse.
Oh man.
Anyone done
He'll
that?
do it too.
Beautiful.
That's a very clean puck mouse.
It is.
Is that the
It
one? you
doesn't have
cleaned
time to
downstairs?
gather any dust.
Took
You-
40 minutes.
Yeah, there's a
Paid
video
off.
that you can go watch him clean it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Especially if you feel really, really bored.
Yeah.
You got the
And then
better
once
part
you're
of an
watching
hour
it,
to
you
kill.
find out it's not boring at all.
No,
it
that's
sucks you in.
if you really need something to put you to sleep at night, go watch that video. Jay will appreciate it because
think-
you'll fall asleep and you'll watch the whole video, no problem.
People know. People know. They've seen it.
The one of him cleaning the cinema display is equally as relaxing.
That one actually I like
Yeah.
more than the puck mouse one. I mean,
Because I like the
Well-
display better than a puck mouse.
that's true.
I would tell you that, hey, if people don't leave any dislikes on the video, I don't know people dislike it, but there's
Well-
no such thing as a dislike anymore. So-
Well, there is, but
How do
you
I
just
know?
can't see it.
Exactly. As far as I know, all my videos are hits. Nobody dislikes it.
No, that's as far as anybody else knows. See, you should be able to see those dislikes.
Oh, well, let me
Yes.
try. I just dislike this stream, and I see nothing.
All right, so next topic up on the board here is who put this one in? Welcome to the Apple Time Machine.
What the hell?
I'm
Did I
reading it
miss-
in the notes
did
here.
I
Step
miss
in
something?
now, then step out
Oh,
at any day in Apple's history. Which part of Apple's history would you like to live or relive? Ah, okay.
This was
So-
just
I
a
think I
time
would go
waster. in
back
case-
to.
No, that's actually a pretty good one if you think
I
about
think
it.
I'd go back to. I think it was 2010 or no 2009 when Steve Jobs had a liver transplant or something. I don't know. He had some kind of surgery, and the stock was in the toilet. I would travel back to that time, sell my own liver, invest it all in stocks, and
Why would you do it then? I would go back even further.
I would have gone back to
and gone
like
back when they first
1997.
incorporated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
96
No, no,
and
no.
97.
no,
97.
That's not my time. That's not an era.
The
that I
stock was
want to
even
relive.
lower than Jay.
Yeah.
I know,
So you
A
could
lot
make even
lower.
more.
but also I didn't have any money at that time, so
Well,
better to just.
Well,
go
you're
back
no,
to
no,
the
no.
where I
We're
had
talking
money.
about if you could go back, with, let's say if you had a time machine, you could go back.
Yeah, you don't
With
time
money.
travel with backpacks full of cash. You
I
go
would.
back to a time where you could still use your ATM card.
You obviously have never watched Back to the Future where Doc Brown had a suitcase full of money, right?
Of course, I've seen it, but that was then. You don't do that today.
all you need
How
is
you go
about
live.
$2,000 or $3,000. You go back to 1984, 85, and then invest in the company when they had their initial offering. $5,000 back then would have bought you a car. You know,
No, their initial offering was way before then, wasn't it?
well, I don't remember what year they went public.
Yeah, it was. It was in Apple II days. So
Okay,
Apple
that's
II
the
days.
point.
Okay.
Because it was before the
much age in that
Macintosh.
era,
'cause
yeah.
Remember, Steve Jobs got booted from the company shortly after the Mac came out.
Actually, I would go back to the time where whatever Mac it was that had all the signatures in the back, I would sneak it to the factory, add my own signature. And go back. And today I would be on Facebook seeing all these people, oh, look, it's signed, and see my own signature there.
see Steve Jobs
Rare.
crossed So to put there and say
my
Jay was
God.
here.
Yep.
Can you imagine that? And then sit there, everybody today, you come back and you're like, all right, I have this Mac that has Jay was there, one of a kind.
Actually, I would go back every year and just steal a prototype. That's what I do.
So, just for a moment, I will, rather than this all being about profiting from Apple's share price, is there a particular era in Apple's history where you would like to either live for the first time or relive, based on, sort of what was going on at the company, computers they were releasing, that sort of stuff?
Well, I was a little kid when our PC was a thing and all the colorful Macs were out, and I was a PC. I'd like to go back and actually experience it on the Mac side.
See, I think the time when they first came out with the Apple II, because then it was like the very first PC around that time, and then it was competing at the same time it was competing with Microsoft. I think I would like to see that era again, even though I was alive in that era. I was actually a teenager back then.
Are
But
you saying error or era?
huh?
Are you saying era or
Era, yeah,
Era? Okay.
yeah.
I heard error too.
Well, you guys heard wrong.
Error was in.
It's like Grudy saying layer.
Layer.
No,
Yeah,
That
it's
sounds like
layer.
Lear.
It's not a Photoshop layer. It's a layer.
Layer.
The,
Yeah.
the error was
Layer.
letting Michael Spindler take over Apple.
But I think that would be I would like to see that again because, like I said, I was a teenager back then, so that would be interesting for me.
I have to say, right before Steve Jobs came back, because they were in the dumpster before he came back. They were losing $680 million a quarter, and then he came back, and within 2 years, bam, they were on the rise.
Well,
How
during
much
that
It's fun
time,
to watch.
didn't that time they have like about 20,000 different lines of computers?
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. They had numbers that made no sense, model numbers. They came out with 2 or 3 Performas that all were basically the same freaking machine. The Performa 6000 series. If those pizza box things, they had like 5 or 6 different numbers. It's like, why?
I like the fact that when Steve Jobs came back and he went to and they were losing this phenomenal amount of money, and so he went to each department to look at each individual department's accounts, and every single department was recording a profit. So it's like, well, where's the money going? If everyone thinks, because they were of course doing all sorts of creative accounting so that their department wouldn't be one to get axed. So
I think Madeline told that story, didn't she?
Possibly.
I think she did.
Yeah, I think so.
And I just find that quite amusing. But yeah, I mean, he basically just came in and he just said, if I am a buyer and I walk into a shop and I see all these different apples, I've got absolutely no idea what I should be buying. And so he just whittled it right back, which was a very, very smart move, really.
The best thing he ever did.
Yeah. But I think, I remember whenever it was, I don't remember the year exactly, but I remember I went into a little news agency to buy a magazine, a Macworld magazine, I think it was, and it had a picture of an iMac on the front of it, and like big, sort of thing about the new iMac. And I went up to the counter and went to go pay for it, and the guy at the checkout actually said, what's the story with these new Macs? Are they, as good as they say? Are they like really fast? Are they really good? And this was someone who was obviously not a Mac person at all. And I just felt like that was quite a significant thing that they released something that did make such an impact that even people in the PC world were asking questions about it. which was I think that was definitely a marketing success. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially if other people were talking about it. I mean,
And copying it.
Yep.
Remember that
Yep.
E-machines that look just like the iMac?
Mm-hmm.
so anything else in this before we move on?
No, my time travel would all be financial incentives.
Yeah.
Only Jay. He wants to go back just to make money, which I don't blame him.
Oh yeah.
All right.
First thing I would do when I came back is buy Grudy driving lessons.
You're funny.
I just think he needs a car with better brakes. To be honest,
Jay, I kind of think that would be just a waste of money for you, though.
Yeah, might be.
Well-
But I would have plenty of it, so why not?
Until the Corvette accident, I hadn't had an accident since I was 16.
Which was 4 years ago.
he's saving them up.
Yeah.
I thought you ran that excursion off the road into a ditch or something. Or
No, that was the
Ford truck.
F350.
Oh, see, so he lied. See,
But I didn't hit anything. I just drove it into a
You
ditch.
hit the ditch.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
well, so then
It does
flipping-
according to the
so,
ditch.
So flipping your
The
Corvette
tires
over
were
in a
bald
ditch
and it was
doesn't count.
muddy outside.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
We kid Grudy about his driving skills because he has none.
Or
so.
lack thereof.
Hey,
All right, guys. So next topic on the board here. Everyone needs to check the grounding in your office and home. A surprising amount of people do not know if the ground of their outlets is connected properly. I have not checked mine in my new home here. I would assume, hopefully, that they did it properly. But yes, I need to do that, by the way, and check to make sure it is actually grounded properly.
Yep. And I was talking to a friend today. He said, "Hey, we had a brownout, and now my Mac doesn't turn on anymore. His power supply is fried." And I went over there, inserted one of these into his outlets, and he doesn't have a ground circuit in his entire home.
ooh.
You know, it's sad if your Mac dies because of a ground issue or a lack of ground. But if you're using the microwave or a dishwasher, and it can be a little bit more catastrophic. So you can pick one of these ground fault testers up. They're really cheap. They have 3 lights and an index of what those lights mean. Just pick one up at Home Depot, Lowe's, or an Amazon, and check all your outlets. 'Cause
Did you say
It doesn't always mean it will work, though, because there's a way that some electricians use that it's totally illegal, but they still do it, where they run the ground to the neutral line, and it will give a false neutral.
yeah,
Ground.
Okay, here's the thing. You just said illegal. So why
They still do it, and there's
Why?
houses. There's
then they should have their
probably
contractor
thousands
license
of houses
yanked.
out there like that, and
But
the only
this
way
will
you can
point
do it
that
is
out.
pull the.
Really? Will pointed out it differentiates between neutral and ground.
Jay? I
Oh,
just want
cool.
to clarify something. Did you say catastrophic?
I'm sorry I made you wait to do that for 5 minutes. I'm sorry. But yes, I did. So yeah, pick one of these up, test your house. A lot of old houses where they don't have any sockets with a ground pin, they upgrade the sockets or the outlets, and they just ground it to the little enclosure that the outlets sit in,
Or to the
hoping
neutral.
that-
Yeah.
hoping that is actually grounded, which in a lot of cases
It isn't.
is not the case. So
Joe, you need to
Nah.
really rewire your lab.
Wow.
Well, at least his lab has the electricity.
yeah.
Well, don't let Grudy come and do it though.
Yeah, that too. Don't let me do it.
Speaking of getting a little zap, I discovered when I was working on my Mac clone, the Radius System 81110, when I'm running off the 601 processor, if I touch my finger against the metal case, I feel a current. And when I run off of the G4 upgrade card, it goes away. So I have no idea where it's coming from, but it's kind of a trip.
Yeah, and there's a lot of issues in hardware too. For example, the MagSafe, MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, any of them. I used to get a lot of people into the store that say, when I run my finger over the palm rest, there's this like weird tingle, and you would feel it. It's kind of like your finger was vibrating, and they were all using the MagSafe with the little 2-prong thing on it. And the advice was always the same: take that little block off and put the cable on that has a ground prong on it.
Yep.
As soon as you did that, problem solved.
Yep.
So ground is important. Ask me how I know.
My white MacBook, the unibody one I have, the screws have some kind of short in them, and anytime you plug the MagSafe in, you get a nice shock in your lap.
I'm guessing somebody put the wrong size screws in there, and it's hitting the board, which it's not supposed to do, right?
It's a good possibility. I just put the screws back in it the way I found it. So
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's that. Your nose is starting to grow a little bit there. Come on.
Nice, Mike.
You're welcome.
I've in the Army, we had these old radio teletypes that had a current running through it like that, and if you touched it, it would zap you like crazy because, like I said, it wasn't grounded properly. And man, those things were nasty because you had to have that current flowing to make the teletype stop, and it would only type whenever it got signals in. Well, if you had it open, it would go. That's all it would do. It wouldn't print any characters. But like Jay was saying, is like you touch the case on that thing, and you would step back. It'd almost be like 120 volts going into you. Not a fun feeling.
Yeah, and it's financially it sucks when you blow up a Mac because of a brownout, and surge protectors aren't going to help you either if you don't have a ground circuit to take care of that surge. Most of them anyway. But if you're dealing like Bruce and Steve, if you're dealing with stuff that has CRTs and you want to discharge it, or it might be battery bombed, liquid damage, whatever, you're dealing with a lot more voltage than you do in a MacBook Air. You want to have a ground circuit. So anyone tinkering, anyone that wants to protect their Macs, just check your ground, pick up one of these, and you'll thank yourself later.
I'm sure it's the same over there, but we have safety trips, sort of in the main circuit breaker box. So if I happen to just accidentally bump, live power, it detects that it's sort of leaking and just instantly turns power off. So and I've done that a few times.
Some of the circuit breakers do. Some don't. Yeah.
Well, the ones in our house certainly do, which is a good thing because otherwise I'd probably be several times dead.
Yeah, that's the what do they call those that have in the bathroom? It's where the
GFCI.
GFI, yeah.
GFCI.
I think that's what you're talking about, Bruce. Something like that. That automatically will trip immediately if it.
They have something a little different because they're on 220. They have RCDs over there.
Yeah.
240.
That because of being on 240. Because unlike 110, 240 will kill you, and it will do it very quickly.
Mm.
So,
but it's the
110 will do it
GFCI.
very slowly.
Yeah. GFCI for ground fault connection interrupt or circuit
you
interrupt.
can't expect to see those kind of outlets in an office. They're next to a sink or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Bruce is talking about is the actual breaker where the power comes into the house. They have those sensors.
Yeah. Some of the breakers do, and you'll see like a little white reset button on those. But a lot of the circuit breakers, especially in my house, they have just a circuit breaker and they have a little red panel that shows you when the circuit breaker tripped. So you have to pull it back and then, push it back forward. But there's a little panel there that shows a little red dot if the circuit is tripped, so you know which one tripped. But some of my circuit breakers have a little white button on it, like we just said, and I can't remember what that's called, but I think that's the GFCI type of breaker that will do that built into the actual circuit breaker itself.
And Horst, I'm right there with you. I mean, back in Europe, I don't know if it's 240 or we
It
always
is.
say it's 220.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put my hand in a light bulb socket. And it wasn't fun.
Was this Jay's dumb days?
Those days are
I'm
not
hoping
behind
he
me
was
yet.
a kid.
I know he still makes questionable decisions. I mean, just look at that pile behind him.
The other side.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Anything else before we move on?
No, quickly.
Just make
describe
sure. I mean, the whole point of this is make sure that you have a good ground in your house.
Yeah, I think it's something that can actually be tested with a multimeter, but we won't go in and do those steps here because we don't want to be responsible for accidentally killing anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
All
all
right.
liability,
Next up on the list here, it's been 2 years since 32-bit apps have gone away and Catalina came out. So how have we moved on? Has anybody missed 32-bit apps?
We haven't.
Because I still use them on a daily basis.
Well, I'm actually running Big Sur right now on this CMP, and so I have no 32-bit apps on here. So I don't miss
I
them.
was gonna try it. I was open to a new experience, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try Big Sur, and it won't let me migrate my data, so I'm still on Mojave. So I can.
Why
still,
won't it let you migrate your data?
Don't ask. It's just weird. It's just weird. So I still have my 32-bit apps, and I use QuickTime 7 Pro almost daily. So far I'm good.
Yeah, I still on my main systems use Mojave. If they'll run Mojave.
I use Catalina at work, but not at home. That's only because I have
Yeah,
to.
just about every game that I have installed on my Mac is a 32-bit app, so that pretty much precludes me ever upgrading from Mojave. Not that I would really want to anyway, because my experiences with Catalina were not positive.
Well, isn't the older version of UT? Don't they? Didn't they come out with a 64-bit version? I mean, they kind of hacked it so it could work. Because I ran it on Catalina for a little bit there, and it worked fine. Was it 1999? The UT99.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot they did that.
But they haven't done UT04 yet. So
Yeah, but that's only one game out of the 15 that I have installed, though.
yeah, I know. But here's the question, though: can you run a virtual machine and run that game in a 32-bit operating system under a virtual machine?
Why would I want to?
Technically, you probably could. Yeah.
Why would I want to run Mac OS inside of Mac OS when I can just run Mac OS?
Yeah.
I like Mojave. I have not upgraded for the simple fact I like where I'm at. It's stable. It doesn't give me any trouble, and everything just works. So,
Yeah, but a couple
Yes,
years
if it
down the
gets-
road, it's not going to work. That's
Deal with it,
I'm still,
man.
running, I'm still running El Capitan on a machine, and
True.
it works just fine. And that operating system is 8 years old, and I have no issues whatsoever.
But do you use it as a daily driver?
Technically, it's my server. I mean, it's a 1,1 Mac Pro. I mean,
Yeah.
it's my server. I interact with it on a daily basis. But no,
Sean's
I don't
here.
run apps or
Happy
anything
birthday,
like
Sean.
that.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday. So, but what I'm saying though is that, like I said, I went ahead and went to Big Sur. Now I have not gone to Monterey yet, and I don't plan on it because one, Monterey has been having some issues with the CMPs lately, and I think that my last version is going to be Big Sur on the CMP. I think that's pretty much going to be it for the Classic Mac Pro. I don't think.
Sorry to interrupt, but Grudy, you said you were gonna sing for Sean if he showed
Yeah.
up.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
Yeah,
No, I didn't.
Yep.
If you start singing, I am going to mute your ass.
His singing is
Right
better
before
than his
I kick
driving.
you out.
Oh, wait a minute. Was
I
this
doubt-
It's not like when I was singing Puppy Love.
Sean has a new house?
Ooh,
Nice.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He should be moving in right about now.
Yeah.
I think he closed on it.
He just said it
Well,
opposite my new
he's actually
house.
saying he's definitely only consuming a very reasonable amount of beer. What's reasonable for him though?
What's his birthday?
Well, seeing as how he lives seeing as how he lives in Pennsylvania, anywhere between 12 and 24 pack.
Yeah, that sounds about right for Pennsylvania. When I lived in Pennsylvania, that's about how much I drank.
Yeah, it's at least
Yeah.
a 12 pack,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
probably going
he's
to be
driving.
yingling. So
What?
Nothing.
So back to the topic here, 32-bit apps. I mean, like I said, I don't on this Classic Mac Pro. This is my Plex server too, so I don't use a lot of 32-bit apps on this particular machine. So I don't have any 32-bit apps on here. So I don't need to do that. But I do have some other Macs that I actually have, Mojave on it that I can actually run 32-bit apps. So I'll run it on those machines.
I have an app that I use daily, and it's still 32-bit. Now, of course, I can update it, but since moving to 64-bit from 32, this company has moved to a subscriber system rather than a one-off purchase system. So, who dat?
I don't know.
So that's really frustrating because I am sort of hanging on to this software because I don't, for the software that it is, the sort of software it is, I don't think it's just a utility. I don't think it warrants a subscription. I would much prefer a one-off purchase. So that's one of the things that sort of keep me going. And of course, Aperture we've talked about many times before.
Speaking of which, what company started this stupid subscription instead of
Probably
one-off purchase?
Adobe.
Probably Adobe, yeah. And the thing you have to keep in mind, the thing you do have to remember when it comes to software is that it was a response to the fact that software companies were losing a lot of money because there was a lot of the time, they would revise, develop, improve, add features, all that sort of stuff. And people would buy upgrades and all that sort of stuff. And then it reached a point where when they brought out an update, the changes or improvements weren't really enough to warrant the spending the extra dollars, and people were just hanging on to old versions of things for ages and ages and ages. And I mean, I would still be using old versions of Adobe software if it wasn't for the fact that I have to stay compatible with my customers. So software companies were going broke. Because they just weren't. When you start off, there's that whole thing of getting your software out there. When you reach, peak saturation, you start selling very few new ones, and then it all just happens. You then just make your money from upgrades or trying to come up with new software and stuff like that. And so, moving to a subscription model kind of saved a lot of companies in the software business. It sucks.
Well, I mean, for certain things, I could see where that could work. Like, for instance, if you want to subscribe to get updates and stuff, like for so many months or whatever it is. But once you get, let's say you don't want to pay the subscription no more, then your software stops working. I mean, that to me kind of sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's
Subscriptions make sense for things like virus scanners and stuff like that, where you're wanting them to be always the most up to date, so that they're catching anything. So it certainly makes sense for them. With believe it or not, with Adobe, while I always had a very negative sort of attitude towards them going in subscription, if I was to stay up to date with them and buy upgrades each time they came out, it would probably cost me the same, if not more, than just the cost of a subscription. It spreads that cost out over, so it's only a small amount each month rather than it being one big hit of $1,000 or something for a full upgrade. So
it is coming though, because eventually, if you stay up to date with Adobe, you're going to have to upgrade your OS at some point. If you have to upgrade your OS, it means you have to upgrade your hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting. I actually I think the main catalyst for me upgrading to Mojave was the was the Creative Suite. I think for me to run the latest version, I had to actually update to Mojave.
Until they sit there and start saying, "No, Mojave's no longer."
Version 2022 now will not run in Mojave.
Yeah.
You gotta have Catalina.
Sons of guns.
Yeah, that's why I use Catalina at work. Now, I have the Adobe subscription as well, and I pay about $57 a month. So that comes out to about $684 a year. And if they're releasing full upgrades to their entire suite every year, they used to charge $1,200 for that. So,
well, the question is, though, since they've gone to subscription services like this, has it improved their update response versus adding new features stuff, or have they been lazy and not really adding a whole lot?
If anything, I feel like Adobe are releasing, they're adding more features more often than they used to.
Yeah,
pisses me off.
The problem is InDesign is such a bloated application now, and it doesn't even use multi-core support.
Yeah, no,
they're really irritating.
They're all bloated. All of them are bloated. Illustrator is bloated. Photoshop is bloated.
I notice it most with InDesign.
Yeah. InDesign is a pain in the backside to use a lot of the time. I mean, I've really noticed it on this. I mean, we're talking about a dual hex core, 3 gigahertz, here. And when I fire up something like InDesign, it really drags. So,
yep.
Well, I mean, see, one of the things I've noticed, especially like on the Microsoft side, they did this. I know everybody's heard about the Office 360, which is their version of subscription service. And if you're a 360 subscriber, once you stop paying that subscription, you no longer can actually even use the software at all. But I think I still have some of the older versions of Microsoft Office that run on a Mac that I can install. I think my last one was 2011. I mean, it still works, but with all the new features that they add, you just can't open up some of the newer doc files because it's like, oh, wait, it has stuff in it that I have to convert,
I'm running 2016, and every time I turn around, I've got the Microsoft updater yelling at me saying, "Oh, if you want to upgrade 3 of your Office applications, you have to upgrade your OS." And I can't turn it off. I'm like, I don't care. I don't use it often enough to do
I would still rather use Quark Express version 3 on System 6 than use Microsoft Word.
Well, I actually use Pages now because basically it's free. It has to be honest with you, I think Apple did a lot better job as far as the way you can actually collaborate with documents. Even though once you do it on a newer operating system, someone running on Mojave, like for instance, when I updated something in Catalina, if somebody was on Mojave, they couldn't do any updates anymore because it automatically updates the document to that version, which I think that's where Apple sucks on that part. But their collaboration part on their documents is a hell of a lot better than Microsoft's because you can have multi-users editing at the same time, whereas Microsoft, you can only have one person editing at a time.
For personal use, the collaboration features they have are great. If it was just me with a document and I upgrade to Catalina, it's not a problem because it's me doing it in my own ecosystem. So all my machines are probably going to be upgraded.
Yeah.
Apple has never been good at business. Like, it's not. There's no way for Apple to compete with Microsoft and their collaboration and all that stuff. So I think they should stop trying. Personally.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing I have noticed about Microsoft is Outlook is the worst piece of garbage
I hate Outlook.
ever.
Hate
Yeah.
it. I have to use it at work. I'm like,
Yeah,
can I put
I had
Thunderbird?
to use it when I was a civilian contractor, and it is the worst piece of garbage ever.
And I love the fact that it uses one of the worst HTML interpreters ever made for interpreting HTML emails.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I get customer emails on. So I have multiple accounts on my computer at work because we have multiple departments, and one of the departments goes through a some sort of a application that does impositions and things for you. It's all automated, but it generates its own emails. And when I get those emails, the type is like this big. Hate it. I print it out, it's normal size, but when you view it, it's like microscopic.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. I used to work as a government contractor, and they would lock down their Outlook to the point where all you would see is text. So if something HTML came in, all you would see is HTML code. You would not see it, rendered as an HTML page. It would be so trying to read that was like you're like, ugh, why am I reading this? And if somebody emphasized something, like if they made a change in it and they said something in red, it wouldn't be in red. So you're sitting there typing, okay, what did you mean? And they come back, oh, I typed it in red there. It's not showing in red on my end because Microsoft Office sucks.
Don't you know the hex code for red?
Yeah. But Outlook is just the worst thing that Microsoft ever came out with.
How did we get from 32-bit apps to this?
Because we were talking about,
Magic.
Remember, we do that all the time. It's what we
Yeah.
call Mac Yak.
I know, but I still wonder. Like, it's quite a stretch. How did we get
I
there?
think we pretty much covered it anyway. Most of us have not moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
All right. So we're going to go ahead, and before we move on here, we want to play this one thing.
Smash that like button.
So make sure you hit that like button, and you can hit the dislike button. You can't see it now, so
Either
that
way,
like
it helps us.
yes. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and start with our Eat Quack tonight. We actually have some Eat Quacks tonight. So the very first one is, and I'll
Wait. How does the game work?
okay, here we go.
Oh my
Eat if
God.
you have, quack if you haven't.
Oh,
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
So first one is Retro from Retro Techie, and he actually does a lot of these Eat Quacks for us. So keep it up,
Yeah.
Retro Techie.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We'll send you a plaque or something.
Yeah, because I think he's come up with a lot of these. So first one, Eat Quack, if your nickname in school was Mac, as you were known as the Apple computer using kid in your grade.
Sort of eep.
Whack.
I was-
Steve better Eep on this one. 'Cause remember,
In my senior year of high school, they called me Mac Man.
I was about to say it was partial. It was MacMan, never just
Yeah.
the word Mac, which is funny because I was 12.
I was PC all the way through school and through my first graduation of college. So
boy, there's a whole lot of quacks in the chat.
Yep. I have yet to see an Eep.
When I used to work for a tech, sort of Mac tech support company in the early '90s, the owner of that company, he had his license plate was MacMan, and it was whenever you go driving somewhere with him in the car, you as you drive along, you just watch all these people mouthing MacMan because they see it and say it. It's just, you just drive down the street and people see it and then say it.
There was a guy here in town who, and I'm pretty sure he's closed his business and retired, but his name was Tom, and it was Tom's Mac Services, and his license plate said Tom Mac. So yeah,
Like
my name
Clownhead.
is Clownhead.
Did you have a giant perm or something?
Well,
Why?
Okay, we have to see a picture. Why did they call you Clown?
yeah.
Clown.
Did you have a fro, Kate? What was going on?
this just got interesting all of a sudden.
She's
Now
clearly
we're
traumatized by it though, with the frown face. So I don't mean to
Hey,
poke.
if you didn't want any questions about it, you don't mention it on a show that is watched by millions of people. You're gonna get questions.
millions.
right now, but hey, who's counting?
Billions.
Frizzy. Oh, we got to
Frizzy,
see
yeah.
that. You're
Okay.
gonna have to show us a picture on your Instagram account.
Can we call
got
Grudy Cloudhead then?
Cloud face, maybe.
shoulder length and poofy?
Take the hat off and you'll change your mind.
Well, if he takes the hat off, his hair just goes.
That's what I mean. It'll be Cloudhead.
Fills the whole frame. Yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah.
You have no hair. That's why you wear a hat. All right. So our next eat quack for the night is from Garrett. Have you ever bought a parts machine for a Mac you're working on only to find out it's in better shape than the one you were working on?
Didn't we do this one last week?
We did a very, very similar
Eep.
one to
Similar one.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we all eeped it.
Yeah, I'm going to eat
I
that
have
one.
not. No, quack.
I think the one last week was, did you buy a
To
machine.
end up fixing it.
and you ended up fixing it?
Yeah.
You bought it as a
you
parts
bought a
machine,
parts
you ended
machine
up
and you
fixing
ended
it.
up combining things and using it instead or something like that. Yeah.
No, it just basically is, did you end up fixing it? But you bought it as a parts machine initially, but
Oh, well, I've done that. Yeah.
this one is eat because, yes, I actually have had parts machines that I looked at it. I was like, damn, this is better than the one
Yeah.
that I'm fixing. So I'm going to take the parts out of the original one
Yep.
and put it in.
Yep, definitely have that.
In fact, Jay has my parts machine that I need to get back so I could use the case for my other machine. So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Quick,
Uh,
deploy distraction.
All right. Last eat quack for the evening is from Sam. Have you ever straightened yet another paperclip because you can't find any
Yeah.
of the dozen others you've straightened?
Yes.
Eep, eep, eep,
Yeah.
eep.
I
It's
know
funny
that
because
this-
he put that on
I just did
Discord.
that the other day.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
he put that on Discord, I think 2 days ago, and I was like, "Yeah, I've done that." And then, as I'm cleaning my office yesterday, I find like
There we go.
15 of them bent in various shapes for different purposes. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
my-
definitely.
So this is my
What?
mug.
Oh, no, Sean, I know you're lying. He keeps his best paperclip in his toolbox.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
why
I keep
it every
one
day.
in my iFixit kit.
Yeah, that's a good
Me
idea.
too. And I
Yeah.
lose it all the time. So
Yeah,
I
I
keep
keep- I
it in
keep
there now.
one-
It's not the one that
I
was
keep
there
one
last.
here in my where all
Oh,
my
this-
pens
this
and
is
everything
the-
are, and then I keep one at work. I have one of those little office organizer things. I got one in there. It's been there for years.
I had to post that one. That was
This
that's
one
a
is
good
mine.
Oh, that's funny. Anyways, yes, I have those all over the place too, and usually I have to actually go hunt a paperclip down first before I can unbend it. So,
My wife keeps a box of paper clips on her desk for when I come in and say, "Babe, you got a paper clip for me?" And she give me one. 2 days later, it's like, "Hey,
you got another
got
one?
any more of those paper clips?"
You got any more paperclips?
Yeah.
What's funny about my wife keeps them too, and she has the ones that have the coating on them. So I have to-
annoying.
I have to peel the coating off
Yeah.
first.
Yeah,
Too
I'm not.
thick. Yeah.
But it actually works out pretty good because you just peel off the coating off one side, and you have the coating on your part that you use
So-
to hold it.
Where'd it go? This
No.
one
See,
I
you
have.
lost it.
This one I have is very old. You can't. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, you can see it. I can see
This is made when paper clips were still like steel. And this thing is freaking like. But now the new ones, they're so flimsy. I think they're all made of aluminum now.
Yeah.
They're so flimsy and light, and I hate paper clips. But those old steel ones, man, those things would hold stuff together like crazy.
Yeah, especially when you need to.
And if you're trying to
Pop open
eject
a
a floppy
CD
disk,
or-
it doesn't bend at the part that was already bent. Yeah.
Well,
Well, you buy some
especially
really crappy paper clips.
Paperclip
paperclip
tech.
yak.
That's
There you
right.
go. All right, so
We
I
can
think
take
we're-
anything and turn it into a 90-minute chat. Don't,
Oh,
don't,
yes, we can.
don't test us. We will.
We've done it before.
It may not be
Yeah.
very entertaining, but watch us do it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's usually entertaining.
Hey, if you want entertainment, go back through our episodes and count how many times GT says, "All right,"
Or how many times we say,
and then turn it
everybody
into a drinking game. There you go.
or how many times the audio sucked until we got Streamlabs or StreamYard.
Oh,
All
sorry.
right, guys. So
I gotta do
at the
this.
we're pretty much at the very end of the show tonight. So check out our
It's like a
Discord.
reflex at this point.
Who? No, I don't try
I
to
do.
bend the back of the paper.
I bend them back.
I've tried.
But check out our Discord. We do have a very active Discord group there. Remember, our PowerPC challenge is next month. So start working on your PowerPC machines to get ready for it. We'll be looking forward to having a whole lot of people doing that. Website link is mac-yak.com. Go there and check it out. Don't think you survived that. Yep. Also, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell icon. We only do this once a week, so you're only going to get a notification once a week. So thank you guys for being here tonight. If you guys got anything else before we leave,
Somebody put the Discord link in the chat.
we already did.
Yeah.
I did.
Don't-
Don't forget
In
to
the live
check
chat?
out Ken's video.
I will
Tell me what to
I will
do.
probably stream this
Oh,
weekend.
there it is.
Maybe.
I'll probably do something this weekend too. Wow.
Probably Justin is streaming after we're done, right, Justin?
Sad
Sounds
Mac,
good.
you don't have to cheat because there is a Discord for PowerPC.
Yeah, that's true.
We
Colin.
mentioned that earlier in the show. You must have not been here for that.
Yeah,
He was
Colin-
busy checking his Streamlab logs for what the hell happened.
No, Sad Mac.
That
Sad
was
Mac
Justin.
said that.
Oh,
Yeah. He says, I have to cheat a little bit because of Discord. No, there is a Discord client out for PowerPC, so you don't have to cheat.
Boss dude made it.
Exactly.
Hopefully he gets the audio and video part of it done soon.
But at least you can still do the text part. I mean, that's not a problem.
True.
All right, guys. So appreciate everybody joining tonight. And like it says on the bottom, now go away, leave, scram, vamoose, get a life. Thank you for coming again and eat at Joe's. Bye, everybody.
Joe.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.